Hey all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be doing the year-end retrospective, 2014, a look back, my video blog in gaming. But first, Happy New Year's. You made it to another year, as did I, shockingly. Another year older, and one more experience point in the tank. So, let's look back at this time last year. For me, I'm just going to ramble about my year. That will be this video. So, last year we were on hiatus for Christmas for Legends of the Seven Sands. And we were doing kind of like play-by-post, kind of play-by-email style over Christmas. Because we knew it'd be a while before we could all get together. So I was gaming at that time with Josh Powers Pullman, the MVP of the Kitchener RPG scene. Aaron Kenderson Scott, the Eternal Kender. We also had in the party Mike Chartrand, good old rat face, as James likes to call him. And Big Daddy Rick, who's in the party. We also had Tyson and Raven. They had joined by this time last year. So coming out of Christmas break in the new year at that time, now it's the old year, get out of here old year. But we finished up the campaign fairly quickly after that. Went in, we hit a dungeon, we came back, we had some combat, might have hit another dungeon, maybe, and then we headed out for the final battle, the final confrontation, which was a huge amount of fun. Rick and Josh had their big blow up out of game. They did not get along, so they vowed never to game with each other again, and possibly to kill each other. You know, it's they're both pretty civilized individuals in most aspects, but they don't get along with each other. So I had started up my next campaign, Solar Wars, the space opera game using the Rogue Trader rule set. Legends of the Seven Sands was using Pathfinder, and we found a lot of, I don't want to say problems with Pathfinder. We found a lot of, we had problems. I don't want to say it was entirely due to the system. I mean, Pathfinder is not my favorite system. Everyone knows that. But a lot of the problems we encountered could have been circumvented more easily than we did. I mean, we made it work, though. We had, no real problems. Like, it wasn't a big problem. We had a lot of little problems. We didn't have a really, really big one. But now that we know the system better, it'll go even smoother if we use it again. So, do I like Pathfinder? Not really. Am I going to blame Pathfinder for some of those issues? No, because you can't blame a tool. You can only blame the man using the tool, or the men and the woman in this case. But anyway, Legends of the Seven Sands over, Pathfinder over. We're picking up Rogue Trader. We're booting it up with a homebrew setting of my own design, space opera setting. So I sent out my big email. I sent out to like 50 people. And I'm starting a new campaign. All of you people who've been waiting to get into this spot in my game, here's your chance. The first 6 people to RSVP get in the game. And boom, first person RSVP is Rick. So Josh is not coming in this campaign. And then there was like this deafening silence. And we got Rick, we got a new fella Patrick, we got Mike Lopez, who I stole from Jason's awful game. And I did a horror story, that's Fae Horror. So you can see what awful game that was. I've already uploaded it. So we got the Fae Horror, and I stole Mike out of there. We also have my brother, Gregory, and his girlfriend Maggie came in. So that was we were looking at starting off with. I think that was everyone at the time. So we started off. We hit I want to say 2 or 4 sessions, somewhere in that range. And went well. It was going well. But we had scheduling issues with my brother, and he had to drop out. And his girlfriend was kind of on the fence about staying in or going out. And there were some personal problems going on with Rick and the rest of the group. So we came through, and I said, well, like Greg's character was very integral to the plot, and we're only like 4 sessions in. We haven't really invested that much, so there's not much to salvage. You know what I mean? It might be better to just reboot. And I hate rebooting the same thing, so let's go in a new campaign entirely. And I shot out my list of campaigns. So I shot out my list, and we ended up doing Return of the Rune Fangs, which is using a Song of Ice and Fire system, chronicle system from Green Ronin Publishing. And also, it's set in the Warhammer fantasy universe. So we got low magic, we got gritty, we got nobles, we got elves and dwarfs and orcs running around, and beastmen, the hideous beastmen of the Drakewald Forest. So we started that up, and I'm trying to think who initially we got in. I think we got Charles. Actually, Charles might have been a rogue trader as well. We got Charles, Mike, and Rick starting out. So we came through, and Rick eventually decided to leave. Rick, like I said, he had some personal problems with people in the Solar Wars game as well. So he ended up leaving. And as soon as he left, I was talking to Josh. I just had lunch with him or whatever. We chill out. And, I got home from lunch, and he had, sent out a text message, and I got, everybody from Legends of the Seven Sands sent me an email, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't want to join you because of Rick, but we'd love to join now. Now that your game is Rick free, we'd love to get in on this game." I think Josh got in. I think we were full up at that point though. We had Charles, we had Mike, we had Josh, we had new guy Kevin, who's turned out to be very fun to have at the table. We had Megan. Megan was a new girl, nice little girl. She came in. She was running really good with her character. I'm trying to think if we had anybody else come in or bump out of that. Oh, James! I always forget James, the indomitable snowman. James, I'm sorry I forgot about you, but James came back in for Return of the Rune Fangs as well. That was a missing piece of the puzzle. So we were rocking and rolling with that. Megan ended up leaving. She went up to join the army in Ottawa. In real life, she's gonna be rolling initiative pretty soon in real life, and I wish her the best of luck with that. But we're bringing in. It was a while before we brought in a replacement for her. We're just now bringing in Scotty Diamond. Now towards the end of the year, the Diamond Stud. But ladies, calm down. He's taken now. He's just proposed to his girlfriend, so the Diamond Stud is off the market. But that was kind of the group that we went through, and of course, I've done my session recaps of that. I think we're up to episode 22 chronologically, but we've had prequels and Gaiden games, mid-equals, if you will, midquels. But we've had probably 30 sessions overall in this universe with this cast of characters. But the main 22 of them are the real story, and everything else just setting it up, like prologues and whatnot. So it's going really well. I'm probably looking to finish that out. We'll probably get another 6 months out of it, 3 months or 6 months. And that's going really well. There's some strong role playing. Josh has switched characters now. His original character went bad. Charles is leaving, due to some real world commitments. So we're looking at bringing in another player, and we're searching for another player right now. If anybody's in Kitchener, you call me. But for various reasons, well, I just started looking. I just started looking last week. But there are some people who I'm kind of who are not coming in. You know, obviously Rick can't come in with Josh. James and Mike, Ratface, Chartrand don't get along. For some reason, they don't get along. James and Aaron don't get along. So some of my players have you know, come with some baggage on there, but that's fine. We can always find new players. So that's going very well. I also, of course, started doing videos this year. Been a huge fan of Wood, WWAD, and the Gentleman Gamer. Less so, but Gentlemen have some really good stuff out there. So I got myself a little camera. I've been rambling at peeps. I'm up to 125 subscribers now, which is very cool. It's a terrible camera too. Just the quality, the motion blur, son. I can't handle it. But Wood WWAD really inspired me to get some videos rolling out. So I'm up to about 180 videos, quite a few more videos than subscribers. But when you're working with this kind of camera, what do you expect, right? It's awful. And I am looking at either doing get a new camera or possibly switching to a podcast format. And we'll still be putting those up on YouTube, but listening to me ramble might be more educational than watching me. You know, I don't have any budget for a set. Cameras are more expensive, and you know, various other reasons. But we're still kind of thinking about things at this point. I'm trying to think what games I was a player in this year. I think Jason's game was this year. I think. So I guess I played in Jason's game. I played in the Numenera game. Yeah, these are all horror stories. I got Numenera horror. I got Fae horror. Dr. Paul's games were before the Christmas. I'm pretty sure of that. So while they were horrific, they're beyond the scope of this video to mention. Just recently, I've joined Aaron's game, and it's actually turning out really well. I'm going to do probably a couple videos talking about that. It's shockingly good. Considering what we have to work with, it's shockingly good. But I think that's pretty much it. So I'm running my campaign. It's going really well. We got that up on Facebook, of course. Return to the Rune Fangs. If you want to see the portraits, we got 160 NPCs with portraits. We got all the maps up there. We've got all the lore and notations. We don't have any character sheets because I'm not very crunchy. But if there's some demand, we could supply that. It's kind of, you know, it's weird to me. We got 25 people following it, but there's only, you know, the 7 of us in the game, and like 2 of us don't have Facebook. So that's kind of interesting. But the game is going well. About halfway through. You know, we've reached that. I'd say we've reached the halfway point. So another 20 sessions and we're good to go. I'm loving Aaron's game. I'm enjoying putting out the videos and talking with all of y'all. Had a lot of great responses lately from like Dr. Funlove TV. He's got a channel, talks about YouTube videos. I don't know why he named his channel that, but I'm glad that he has a channel. And he's got a much nicer camera than I do. He doesn't have this motion blur going on all the time. So I really enjoyed that. Buddy Circo has a channel out, and he's putting out some quality video. His camera, of course, is pretty similar to mine in quality. It's not the best camera in the world, but he's got great content. So I wish him the best with that. And I hope both of us can upgrade to something more technologically sophisticated in the future. Of course, Ander Wood has still been putting out videos on Wood WWAD. A lot of them are based on his role-playing game, Within the Ring of Fire. I've got my copy right here, but I'm not playing in it. So a lot of his recent videos are not super useful to me. But every once in a while he'll still come back and he'll hit one out of the park, or perhaps waffle someone with a chair, as his wanted custom may be, with his barbarian horde. So that's going to be pretty much my year chronologically. So let me think about what were some like high points coming through. We've had some really good role playing with Mike. His character had this really great scene with a priestess. He's got this scar on his face, and he was praying and trying to get it healed. And like an angel or perhaps a deity itself, Shalia, came down to him and judged him and found him undeserving of her healing, and in fact made it. And she left, but when she left this vacuum of astral energy, and a demon jumped in and just ripped his face much worse than it was. So his face is all, he's basically got a skull for a lower jaw now. But that was a great role-playing scene, just between the priest and talking about his inner struggles, and if he could accept this religion or not. And he said that he could, but he knew that he was lying. And of course, the deity Shalia, she knew he was lying too. And she abandoned him to the whims of fate, and a demon picked him up. So that was a really great scene. I'm trying to think if we've had any other really good scenes with our other players. Josh did have one that springs to mind where he was fighting a duel against a dame, a female knight, a lady knight. And just their dialogue and the fight description at the same time was really interesting. It was a really strong scene. So I wouldn't say we've, I'd say we've had at least a couple of grade A moments. Everything else has been really solid like B-level material. And we've had maybe dipped into C at times. I don't think a whole session could be rated as C that I ran. James co-GM'd the session, which I would probably jump in at a C with, if I can get over my stuttering. But overall, we've been very solid. As a player, like I said, I'm really enjoying Aaron's game. Josh is also playing in that, and we, just the other day we had this really wonderful scene, and I'm gonna do probably a whole video about that. So that was probably the best game that I've ever been in, single session game. So I had previously recorded a video. What was your best session ever? Talking about it, and it was me and Josh. But I think this one on the weekend was even better. So I gotta update that video. I gotta make a new video, my new best scene that I've ever been involved in. So that's pretty much my year. I think I definitely have improved as a GM. I've learned a lot of the lessons about adding history into the game, which really makes all the NPCs so much more believable, so much more deep when they can talk about what happened in the past, especially when you meet an older NPC, and he's got prejudices. In our game, the War of the Wasteland was 30 years ago, so everyone who's 40 or over is going to have some kind of thought or perspective on that war. And of course, we've got a couple of characters, one or two, who are old enough to remember the war before that. They're really old, but they have a different perspective on things. I think that was the Horde of Grom the Paunch. Was that old war against the orcs? So we really get to see the younger generation don't get along with Wastelanders. and the really older generation, that while they probably don't get along with Wastelanders either, but they still remember the orcs and the danger that they could pose at any moment. So that's a really great contrast that we've got there. And it gives them all, what did you do during the war? You're 50, you were 20 during the war. What did you do? Did you fight? Did you stay at home? If you fought, were you in any major battles? It's just a great thing to flesh out the background. And I did a whole video about that too, but that's probably the best thing I've learned. I've picked up some organizational things as well. But as far as like a single thing, that's probably the best I've learned. Going forward into next year, 2015, so what I want to accomplish is get my equipment upgraded, either a better camera or switch to a podcast format. Finish up Return of the Rune Fangs. I think it's going to be very solid. We've already got our next game on the table. It's going to be a Call of Cthulhu game using Savage Worlds. That should run for 3, maybe 6 months. So that'll probably close out our year. But that'll be a lot of fun. Kevin is really excited about that. As a player, I want to go forward and push through Aaron's game and see where it's going. He's doing some really great stuff. Josh is, of course, very strong. So I'm really, really enjoying that. And I hope that it lasts out for a good long while. And as far as gaming goes, that's probably it for gaming goals for the coming year. That I want to ramble about in this. So that's my year recap. So I'd love to hear if you have a channel, if you want to do a video response, if you want to talk about your year in gaming, I'd love to hear about it. Or you could leave it in the comments below if you don't have a channel. It's always interesting to look back for just a moment and see how far have you come. Perhaps not very far, or perhaps extremely far. A lot can happen in a year, or nothing can happen in a year. In my case, like I said, I've made lots of new friends. I got Big Kev, Scotty Diamond, we had Little Megan, of course, Mike Lopez, probably the strongest of all of them there. And Charles, who I did know him before, I didn't know him very well. So I'm learning a lot more about Charles. He's turning out to be a much better player than I give him credit for, and a very cool guy too. So I'm gonna leave off there. I'm looking forward to 2015, moving forward into the future, and hopefully I'll still be posting something in some format in the future, and we can do another video next year around this time. But I hope everybody does have a really happy new year. I hope your year was good. I hope that this coming year is also going to be really good to you. Everybody take care of yourself. Cheers.